Good evening, everyone. Welcome to closing comments here for May 5th. Let's jump right into our charts and see what happened in the market today. First up, we got our June live cattle on the board. We did see this cattle market stabilize a little bit here today after yesterday's sell-off. This June live contract did spend most of the action here today between 252, 254, as it did balance out near the top end of that prior day's range. Good signs of life here so far, late yesterday and throughout today's session. Good supportive action here so far this week, even in the face of that sell-off. So the bulls are stepping back in and offering some good support here in all the right places. Prices tightening up here, carving out some nice ranges, and drawing a good hard line in the sand here to trade around. Today's action did open up early and push up there towards 254 before kind of settling in, tightening up here late. A couple touches of that 254 line has shown a nice little breakout spot here. Good heavy volume built up near the top end of this current week's range. Which is a good sign of life here from the bulls, finding good support down here and offering a nice little breakout line. Look for these bulls to keep this pressure up here on this 254 level. Early bids above this line here should get this market rolling back towards those all-time highs. This uptrend still remains intact, and we have good support here so far this week. Bulls are set up nicely here to keep running this live cattle market up there towards those all-time highs. We should see them get a bid early tomorrow and keep on pushing up there. Look for this cattle market to keep on driving up there into those highs. Next up, we got our August feeders on the board. We did see a little bit more downside in this feeder market yesterday, a little bit more volatility as it did briefly undercut that 20-day average. Not as strong of a close yesterday, but we did see a good recovery once again today off that 20-day average. Prices opening up on those lows and rallying throughout most of today's session. Right back up here towards Monday's high and trading right around our prior week's bull pivot here, point of control. Showing good line in the sand here at 373. Look for this market to continue to put up pressure on here. If we do need to pull back a little bit here into inside of today's range down here towards 370, that would be a welcome spot for these buyers to step back in and keep offering some more support and buying pressure. But early bids here above 373 should offer a nice little markup. Look for this thing to break out here above 373 with some early bids above it and start heading back up here towards 379.5. Should be heading back up there towards those all-time highs. This feeder market has seen a little bit more volatility and not as much relative strength compared to this live cattle market, but still seeing good signs of life here. Nice little uptrend still shaping up. Good signs of life here so far this week, and we should see these bulls take another run up there towards those highs. Look for both live and feeder markets to continue with the upside here and keep these uptrends rolling here into the end of the week. Next up, July corn futures on the board. This corn market continuing to see some choppy action here. Reversing all of yesterday's upside here as we did briefly test 485, 487 today, but those bulls just weren't able to keep that momentum rolling here. This market selling off after hitting those high 480s, coming all the way back down here towards our our bull pivot on the week, giving back all of yesterday's gains. So far here, until we can get this market with a close above 485 to 487 here, expect this corn market to keep chopping up here in this area. Pretty similar action to what we saw here throughout the month of March. Look for some wide daily ranges here as we bounce around here in this high $4 range. We needed to get a good confirmed close here above 487 to really get that upside underway. We still have a little bit of volatility here. These ranges are getting a little bit wider, and we are seeing some choppy action still here in this corn market. So not a good directional bet here at the moment. We'll have to wait and see if we find some support down here at our major averages or in the low 470s. But so far here, while we are trading in between 470 and 485, look for this choppy action to continue here for this corn market. Next up, crude oil prices giving back a little bit of ground here today. Nothing major, but we did see a nice little inside day drifting back down here towards $100. So far here in the evening session, we did briefly test 100, continuing to see a little bit of selling pressure here so far. This market not really able to get any sustained upside or any sort of bids to keep this market supported. Looking like this thing is going to start to bleed back down here into the 90s. Look for breakdowns here below 99.30, which is our bear pivot here for the week, to take this market back towards this 50-day average, and from there we could see this thing start to bleed down here into the 80s and start to climb down or push down here on this $80 mark. Look for this market to still be a little choppy, a little volatile here in the meantime, but this market doesn't look like it really has the legs to complete a sustained up move. Look for this market to keep on drifting back down here and these bears to keep bleeding this market back into the 80s and 90s. And next up, equity markets seeing some upside here today. The S&P rallying back above that prior day's low. So far here, we can't get any more than 2 red days in a row here for these indexes. This market's still just showing relentless strength here. A lot of good, excuse me, a lot of major components under the hood here still have some good upside to go. So this thing isn't even as extended as it could be. Although we are a bit overbought here, and we have had pretty much just a one-way direction, one-way street here since the end of March. We are still seeing some potential upside here in some of these mega cap names. So there still is some room to go. The Dow is kind of chopping up. It has been the weakest of the bunch, while the NASDAQ just continues to rip here into new all-time highs. So far, so good. This uptrend still remains intact. Not really expecting a whole lot of breakdowns here. This market still remains very strong. Keep putting money to work, and we should see more upside here in these indexes. Look for the stock market and these equity indexes to keep on pushing higher here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in here tonight. Catch you guys tomorrow.